Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and this might be just one of the most beautiful, important watches. It is breathtaking, especially on the inside, and I want to tell you a bit more. Now it's just like an understated pocket watch. What's the fuss about? I'll show you. It is a chronograph mono pusher. In a moment I'll show you how thin and delicate that hand is and well thought through. Then in a moment you see here very delicate, hardly distinguishable, a lever. This is the watch of this man, Herbert Hambling. The watch is from 1915, and the bulge in his waistcoat is this watch. Or maybe he's just happy to see me. It is this watch. 1915. He was part of the British government, was very important in aviation, and this is his watch. 1915, keep that in mind. In a moment I will show you a bit more detail, but now there we are. Vacheron Constantin, Geneva. Here is something strange going on, and I'll show you in a minute, because there is an inscription and very light the name of Sir Herbert. But now, are you ready? This is really something else. 1915. And even if you think, well, okay, there are many parts in a small pocket watch, I'll show you under the microscope. It is breathtakingly beautiful. Not just the execution, but the design, and everywhere you look there is a bit of a surprise here. The temperature compensated balance wheel, so the inside is steel, the outside is brass. There the Breguet overcoil, and the spring is breathing, beautifully centered. There is so much more going on here. Swan neck, and do you see the curve of this hammer and the swan neck? No computers, 1915, and this is just for fine-tuning the timing pins. Of course, as we know from Vacheron Constantin, the palette fork is just breathtaking. This is so small, and I love the curved palettes. No need, no function, just visual. But there is so much more. This is just enough to be exceptional. But then, it is a mono pusher chronograph. And this makes it probably the world's most beautiful watch. Here, this lever, this one piece, is going in and out and just engage and disengage the chronograph. Here, this wheel is always moving, so that wheel is always moving, and it's just now it's disengaged, and if I push the pusher, it is engaging. And now reset mono pusher. If we just have a look at the teeth of the center chronograph here. Oh, that's the lid. There we go. Where are we? Center chronograph. There we are. Sorry about that. these teeth so finely cut, and you can see the radial graining, are so incredibly small. Just for a reference, this is a hair of my beard. It is just a fraction of a hair. And remember, it's a chronograph. If one teeth is slightly like this, the complete watch stops. The reason why you want these teeth so small is when they engage. This is the pivot point of the sweep second hand, of the chronograph second hand in the middle. If it moves like this and slightly slides into place, the second hand will start like that. But these teeth are so small, they engage immediately, so the second hand starts moving like that without a first wobble. This is so accurate, so small. And then that's why I love the design, and what it makes beautiful is no computers. It's all organic flowing lines like these. It doesn't even have to be as beautiful as this. And then the straight graining, and then the angling, and this is just the pivot point of this lever, slightly moving there, just there, engage, disengage. The beauty, it's so subtle everywhere you look. You can see the angling, the anglage, all the steel parts there, except for this one. So I think this spring is a later addition or made during restoration. They made the straight graining, but not the anglage. And in a strange way, gives us the opportunity to see the difference in just anglage. You never see a part like this without the angling. And here, all the angling, highly polished, highly glossed. This is so luxurious because there is contrast between the straight graining and the highly polished anglage. And here's just a straight graining, and it looks cheap, simple, out of place, even though it's made many years ago. Then again, all these two lines, do you see? They are designed to go together, but not designed. It's 1915, no computers, just men with pipes and drawings. But then they have to be made with each other to get that perfect flowing lines. And just like this, that is masterful. Here the old teeth, I think it's called wolfhound teeth, and there the click. And one of the most sensual things of this watch is still to come, and that is how the minute hand is pushed to the next position every minute. That is just sensual. Again here, these tiny springs, it's just a fraction of a hair. Maybe a third of a hair. First I'll show you the chronograph setting, because that is so well thought through, and then the quarter repeater here. So this wheel is always running. So that wheel is always running. So this will engage, and this is rotating every 1 minute. There we go. Engage. There, engage. This will push this part outside. Here is the minute counter, and that will move one position. But the way it moves like Jagger. It is just here. That piece is coming here and pushing this part that way. Here, starts pushing, there. Here it comes, and look at this. It's moving outwards, pushing, then inwards, like this, and very gently go back in. And this piece here is just for positioning this whole lever. And this is all one piece, and this minuscule fraction of a hairspring is part of that flowing movement of just setting the minute counter. It is so balanced. There. So there, pushing outwards, pushing out, and then here outwards, almost finished there. Last bit inwards and gently flowing back. It's just so beautiful. And here then centering this huge part, that's a hammer and that's a hammer, and they move inwards. That is a heart shaped, that's a heart shaped, and then we go reset, stop, and when we reset, this lever first going outwards, and then the hammer will bring it back to the 0 position. Look at that. Slowly release, and just when it's released, the hammer will push it back to the original position. And then these curved lines like that. Just the design, the execution, but there is more. To finish off the chronograph, here is the extremely delicate hand, and of course with the chronograph this bit here is counterweight, so this bit is exactly the same weight as this length, so when it's resetting it goes dead straight back. And then the quarter repeater, there's more. I'll show you in the, oh no, maybe here. There. And see what happens. You see even the movement of the gong. It is a quarter repeater, so first it hits the hours past, and then the amount of quarters passed. Ding dong, those are the quarters. I hope you can hear it. So that is 1 hour and 3/4. Just 3/4. It is beautiful. But how it's made is those gongs. have to be just the correct length and hardening to make the beautiful sound. And then it cannot touch anything, because if it's touching anything, the sound will talk, and that's it. And not a ping. It's beautiful, well balanced. We see many watches here in our workshop, and beautiful stuff as well. But if you watch this movement, see the elegance, and outside it just looks like the simplicity. But if you know what you're looking at, you appreciate the period when it's made, 1915, and how it's designed, just layer upon layer upon layer, is almost genius without a computer. Just to see the clearance, and of course we can build another complication on top of that, and then all the parts put together with those elegant lines playing together, those, and here that, these, there's no need, it's so much extra work to make it like this, and try to make anglage into an inner curve like this. That is just masterful. And here, even though it is probably a third of a hair of my beard, it's still got straight graining. There. And it's pushing with just the right amount of force next to the next piece. Of course you can make it's difficult, but to make a piece of metal look like this, like a spring. But if it's too hard, it will break immediately. If it's too soft, it isn't a spring. So it is making the part, finishing the part with the straight graining and the anglage, but then the star of the show is the heat treatment of those springs. And the more you look into the movement, the more springs you see. Just the sheer amount of work to make such an elegant spring like that. And the hammer with these curves, it is just perfection. And then, this is a bit strange. Of course, hand engraved. So far, so good. But here you can see Sir Herbert Hambling, what was it? Hambling, sorry about that. The strange thing is, of course, chronometer and Vacheron Constantin, Geneva, is engraved during the production of the watch. But here, the Sir Herbert is done with acid. And that acid is eating away in the gold. But as you can see, the acid is done after the engraving. Especially with this E, you see here a bit of that acid. And that is just strange. Why would you make that Sir Herbert mark over the chronometer? Why not just do it slightly below Sir Herbert? That is just an enigma. Why those two texts are going through each other. Really, really don't know. But the engraving was first. You see that here with the E. It goes over the engraving. And here you see the line. And here definitely. That is just so strange. But I really do hope you enjoyed this Vacheron Constantin as much as I do. And if you know what you're looking at, a bit more context in the period when it's made and how it's executed, it is just one of the most beautiful watches ever made if it's put in that context. It is absolute perfection. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are as amazed as I am, and I read every single one of them. Please hit the like button. See you soon and see ya. Bye bye.